what I thought was interesting is I just put your pocket watch in the sculpture on the back.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
Because you told me the wonderful story and showed me your watch that was so important, that was also from your father.
Yeah, it was my grandfather's watch, and when I left to write the screenplay in Ireland, and my father came to the house, and he thought maybe he wouldn't see me for an entire year. So he took his gold watch out of his pocket. He said, "This is your grandfather's watch. He gave it to me 50 years ago. And now that you're going away maybe for a whole year, my grandfather and your father give this watch to you." And there were tears in his eyes. And this wonderful watch, I'm glad, is part of the sculpture, because it's part of my life.
And also, as I said, what I loved about just finishing reading Something Wicked This Way Comes is that you talk about the watch and talk about time, and it just seemed everything, the sculpture just seems so right with what you're writing about, with time passing and but still being linked to your dad.
It's very true. And all of my books are dialogues with my father, and my father with me, and my grandfather with me, and me with my grandfather. So all these books are conversations and exchanges between me and my father and me and my grandfather. And I'd like to dedicate my library back east and have them make sure that it's dedicated to my grandfather, because he introduced me to radio, which was invented in 1922 when I was 2 years old, and I sat on his knee and he put earphones on my ears, and we tickled the crystal radio and I heard symphony music being played 1,000 miles away. And when I was 3 years old, he gave me a novel by H.G. Wells, When the Sleeper Wakes, that appeared in Harper's Magazine with fantastic illustrations of a future city. And I have those tear sheets from Harper's Weekly right here. I kept them all these years, and I looked at the future through my grandfather's copies of Harper's Weekly. And then, of course, along the way, when I was 3 years old, he helped me. He had me help making dandelion wine. He sent me over to the field with my brother with a gunny sack. I filled it with dandelions. I brought them back to the basement and I poured them in the wine press and crushed them down and made dandelion wine with my grandfather. So that memory is alive in the book too. It's remarkable that that book was written without my remembering I actually helped make the wine. Someone told me that later because they were there. They said, "My God, you did it. You were 3 years old."
Yes. It's amazing how you do things and you don't know why you do them.
That's right.
And then when they're done, it's like, well, you idiot, of course.
That's right.
It was, but people always ask me, what do you and Ray Bradbury talk about? I always say, fathers.
Well, you talk about love. I made up a title today, and the title is Love is the Teacher. Everything that you touch teaches you something.
Yeah.
So you touch it without knowing why you're touching it, and the more you handle it, and then it says to you, wait a minute, I want to tell you something about yourself. So you love this, you love that, you love something else. Okay, that's revelation, isn't it? And so I grew up loving motion pictures. I saw The Hunchback of Notre Dame when I was 3 years old. And when I was 17, I saw it again, but I had total recall from the film that I saw when I was 3. I went to see it with my friends, and I said, I remember this. They said, you can't remember it. How old were you when you saw it? I said, 3 years old. I love The Hunchback. And so I described, there's this scene, and that scene, and that scene, and we went in to see the film, and my God, it was all there. You see, my loves lasted from the age of 3 to the age of 17. All the things that we truly love stay with us forever. And I learned that you go back and dig those loves up and look at them again, and it's a revelation for your life. So you can do it as a sculptor too. You dig up things in your life and you want to sculpt them because it's a hidden love. And when you finish sculpting that love, you say, I'll be goddamned. I didn't know I loved it that much, but there it is. And I can touch it. It's a reality. It's not just a dream. It's a reality.